Hello everybody, NikoTheLegend here, also known as Nicholas Sorokin, and I'm here to tell you how to properly prepare for video game releases. Yes, video game releases are everywhere, they're happening all around us, and we need to know tips and ways of finding out how to properly prepare ourselves. So what I'm going to do is just give you guys a quick rundown on how to properly do it. So let's get on with it, shall we? So this first reason is called doing the research. Now it's going to come across a lot of things that I might say later on in this video that can all go into one, but we're going to break it down bit by bit. But first of all, like I said, doing the research. Now what do I mean by that? Okay, you have to know what you're buying, you have to know what you look for, and you have to know what's hot and what's not. So basically what do we use for our websites? We want to use basic gaming information sites. We want to use magazines, you want to use websites like IGN and GameSpot or Game Informer or Electronic Gaming Monthly or Nintendo Power, those type of entertainment devices and uses, especially when we have cell phones as well, and we have our friends who give us tips too. So we have all these sources at our disposal. I mean, you can even go old school. If you don't want to go with the 2017 approach, you can just go old school and go to a GameSpot. GameStop, I'm sorry. The best thing to do is to really take your time on finding the video game you want, because if you don't, you might be choosing the wrong game you're trying to go for. You might figure out that it's not what it's cracked up to be, or it's the best game in the world that you might fall in love with. Whatever catches your eye, you do the research on, to find out if it's truly worth your time. What game are you buying? Yes, it's good to know, to have a base idea on what type of game you're going to truly go for. Like, for example, if you're going to buy a Zelda game and you know that a Zelda game's coming out, then you kind of already have a general idea. I picked the game that generally the population knows, but if you're looking for a game that's kind of like that, or in a sense the opposite, or you're looking for something different, kind of find a point of origin, kind of like a similarity or a synonym for your game. It's like, oh, Zelda, well, I just look up adventure games or something like that, and you might find it on those entertainment areas that I listed before, like the magazines, the phones, the websites, going to a video game store, especially, like I said, your friends. So those are things you need to know when it comes to buying a game. You have to know. Okay, the next one is knowing the genre. So this ties into what game you're buying. Now, like I said, I mentioned Legend of Zelda, an action-adventure role-playing game, and that kind of can get you started. Knowing, I want to say, the genre is what's key to what's interesting to you. I, for myself, really like role-playing games, so I'm going to look up on the internet or on Google or my phone, action role-playing RPG games or something like that, or something close to me thinking of what I'm interested in, because you'll find lists and lists of games. There's so many, it doesn't matter what console they're on, you'll find something. You got to know what you're looking for in a sense. So type in things that you've played that you're most interested in. Okay, the next point is to weigh the pros and cons of the genre and the game you're finding, once you're doing the research. So the pros and cons is the good and the bad, and not the ugly. Well, it could lead to the ugly, but it's the ugly truth. So you want to find what you look for most in a video game. Do you like hack and slash? Do you like a lot of side quests? Do you like more storyline? Do you like just shoot first, ask questions later? It all ties in together. It's like what games draw you away and what games draw you towards it. You got to know those things. So if you're looking for an adventure game, you might want to look for things that have a good enough side quest amount. You want to know if the storyline is solid. You want to know how much freedom you have. If that's something, do you want a lot of freedom? You like a lot of freedom, or you want not as much freedom because you want to be a little more linear. So you have to know those apples and oranges, those nuts and bolts. So kind of know the differences, compare and contrast with other games. So is it worth the money? Is it worth $60? Is it worth 40? Is it 30, 20, 10? You are going to be the person that decides that. If you know that this game is early access, like on Steam or G2A or freaking GOG.com or any one of those hubs that say early access on them, then you gotta really decide if you want to spend that actual amount and not just wait till the game fully releases. But if you know the game's gonna be fully released and it's gonna have all the content that it's promised, then you can decide if it's really worth $60. That's why it's important when it comes to controversial games where it's a hit or miss and people are talking a lot about it that's kind of sketchy. That's gonna help you really come up with a deductive answer if it's really worth your hard-earned money from your job, however the way you own it, if you're a hitman. So take your time, no impulse buys, guys. Take your time. So are you buying the game because it solely matches your taste, or are you just joining in with the crowd? And what I mean by this is, are you just buying a video game because everybody else is, or you're just strictly buying it because you truly are passionate and you love this franchise, or you love this type of game? An example would be Call of Duty. Those games are games that everybody just wants to join together in parties and friends and play together online, just like a Halo or a sports game. A lot of those games are bandwagon games. People buy it together. I don't think I ever bought in a Call of Duty game just by pure yeah, I'm gonna do it. I love this Call of Duty is so cool. I'm not buying it because nobody else has it, right? It's not, you got to look for the unique individuality of it. So choose wisely. I mean, it's great to play games with your friends, but once your friends move on to a different game, are you gonna keep playing that same game? No, you're probably gonna play the game that they're gonna buy. So that's when you gotta pick your battles. Are you gonna make a day one purchase of this video game, or do the wait and see method and see how it turns out? A lot of games nowadays are released half-ass, and a lot of games get bad reviews because of that, because of performance issues, day one patches, content not being there, glitches, and all those buggies, the mess of the mess. You don't want an Assassin's Creed Unity, right? Because that was a day one release, obviously, and it was a disaster. Sometimes people do the wait and see method and wait till it's patched and everything just to be on the safe side. You gotta wear a helmet, because these days a lot of developers are releasing games before they're even decided that they need to be released, because they set these high standards and they have to release them by that time. Expect 3 to 4 delays, and then when it comes out, it's still not done. So it's a dangerous game you're playing if you want to buy a day one game, and especially when it's gonna go on sale a month later. Think about that. Your patience does pay off. And I want you guys to save money. I want you to understand that rushing into a battle is always foolish. The right console. Are you purchasing the game for the right type of entertainment system? Now, what do I mean by this? I'm not just saying if you have a PS4, you're gonna know right off the bat that you're gonna need a PS4 game. But is it the properly optimized version of that game? Is it going to run the best on the PS4? Is it going to run the best on the Switch? Is it going to run the best on PC? Well, as myself a PC user mainly now, you already know what I'm going to say. Do you like those better frames? You like that stability? Or you like paying the extra, you like using that ultimate PC rig that you have and making your money's worth out of it? Or you want to buy it on consoles and go with a cheaper route, go with a more economic approach. You get a console, it'll satisfy you for about a good 5 years, actually forever. You don't have to upgrade it, you just play the game as it is and you just deal with it. The cheap route or the expensive route? More frame rate? Don't have to worry about frame rate. Does an Xbox game work on a PS4? If you haven't known that yet, they don't work like that. An Xbox game works with an Xbox console, PS4 game works with a PS4 console, and so on. PC games, PC only. Why is my nose fucking itchy? Okay, everybody, we made it to our last point, our last and final point, and it's replayability or collect dust. Ah, yes. Everything is tied into this. When we spent so much time researching the game, we've done so much of our homework, we feel like we're ready, we bought the game, or we didn't buy the game, we're doing the wait and see method. You will know if the game is going to collect dust or not. You will know how expendable the games are when they come out. You know there's going to be a Call of Duty made every year. So is it worth buying a Call of Duty every year when you know you're just going to throw that one aside and play this one? Or you're going to go for a game that you know that has a ton of replay value and they don't spend only a year releasing it. They actually spend a good 3 to 4 years, like Dragon Age or Mass Effect or Forza or a good fighting game. We want games that will satisfy our taste for long periods of time and that we know we can come back to. That's what you want. You want something that can hook you back. Like, I know these games nowadays are getting 10 times longer, especially if you're playing open world games and all that. I mean, they're all over the place now. Or MMOs. The games that release every year, like sport games and all that fun stuff, you can't really take your time. You have to be able to spend that amount. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. Okay, guys, so I'm hoping I gave you enough tips on how to prepare for video game releases on games that you might be interested in or have no idea. I decided, with a quick run through, because I believe you guys deserve to know these things. And if you guys have any questions or things you want to ask me about how to, if there's anything else I missed, or you want to know if what I'm doing is wrong or nothing's working, let me know in the comments below. I'd be glad to help you. So yeah, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. My name is NikoTheLegend, also known as Nicholas Sorokin, and I've given you a summary of preparation.